Join me in welcoming Devonya Miller. Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Steve. How about you?
Doing good, thanks. It's good to have you here with us. Today we're talking
Likewise.
about your book, Soul Murder in the Workplace. First off, though, tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Absolutely. Well, I spent about 15 years in senior management. I had a master's degree in government program administration. I transitioned into mental and behavioral health after developing an interest in relationships and work interaction patterns. It started out as sort of team building and motivating employees and things of that sort. But then I wanted to go deeper. People bring their feelings and their emotions to work. That led me to completing a master's degree in mental and behavioral health. I chose marriage and family therapy because of the focus on relationships and systems and how systems operate. I'm now a psychotherapist here in the state of Georgia. I am still in senior management, of course, because that is sort of a core love of mine, managing government programs, but now I get to marry the two,
I
the
love
world of
that.
psychotherapy, organizational behavior, and government business practices and organizational behavior. So I get an opportunity to work in sort of in the at the intersection of all of those very important facets, if you will.
Yeah, that's very cool stuff. So, tell me first, what was the inspiration for writing the book to begin with?
Well, actually, it started from a personal experience that I had. I reached a point in my career where I was really facing um, work situations that I really didn't have the capacity, um, the coping skills. To sort of adjust to and sort of cope with. It led to my own successful experience in therapy. I saw a mindfulness-based cognitive behavioral therapist, and I saw an alleviation of about 95% of my symptoms, and a light bulb came on. You know, how many other individuals are experiencing anxiety, experiencing depression, experiencing not wanting to get up and go to work um, the next day, and it be sort of more so situational versus biochemical, which those are two very different experiences of those mental health disorders. And at that point, mental and behavioral health sort of chose me. Um, so I, did some more research, began to dive into it. A large part of my thesis in graduate school when I was completing my master's degree to become a psychotherapist was the trauma that takes place in workplace, that takes place in the workplace, and it could look in many different ways. It can be tyranny practices. It can be hostile work environments. It can be gossiping. It can be personality disorders within the workplace that take on that take on a different face. It can be so many different things. But it is soul murder. Soul murder, I borrowed from, of course, brain science and trauma. It's when any human being that faces an adverse situation over and over and over again, that they don't have the capacity to cope with, protect themselves with, they don't have sort of the ability to get out of it. It really does commit murder on the human soul. So, right now, soul murder is really, it's really mentioned in trauma, childhood adversities, but it is very much applicable to what happens to people that get up and go to work every day, that has the skills and the ability to do a wonderful job, yet their soul is being crushed under some of the different things that I talk about in this book.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about, maybe one of the first questions that comes up. Why doesn't a person just quit a job that they hate or that's killing them like that?
It's not It's not always there's no one size fits all solutions. People could be facing several different um, circumstances that really make it difficult for them to just walk away from a job. If I can think of an example, if you're a single mother, you have skills, very good skills in the work that you do. You make $150,000 a year. It provides for you, it provides for your family, it provides for your future. It's not as easy for you to walk away from a toxic environment. Soul Murder kind of walks through and points out the power that both an individual has in those cases where if you're an individual and you are facing this, you might just be you may be only aware of the symptoms that you're having, depressive symptoms, anxiety symptoms, losing confidence. If you find that you've gone from this confident, productive individual who gets results, and you wake up and you're questioning everything that you do, you just don't have the motivation to get anything done. Your ability to kind of solve problems, all of that is just weighed down. That is you're experiencing trauma. And so what soul murder walks an individual through is how to recognize those symptoms, how to normalize those symptoms, not to feel guilty or shame about those symptoms, but it walks a person through self care practices and different mindfulness practices that can build up the spirit and the ego that has been crushed by murder. And then, free up the cognitive side of your brain. So when soul murder has happened, sort of the cognitive side of our brain, our ability to think, our ability to plan, our ability to kind of problem solve, all of that is kind of sort of hijacked with the traumatic symptoms. What I walk an individual through in soul murder is how to develop a mindfulness practice, a spiritual practice, things of journaling, such as journaling, other self care practices that kind of calm down the nervous system, and allows an individual to regulate themselves so much so that they can see and have access to their cognitive faculties to say, hey, what am I really dealing with? What are the brutal facts of what I'm facing? And where do I go next? If that makes sense.
Absolutely. So, from the other side of things, do you think corporations are just unaware that it's happening to their people, or is it something that you think they're doing intentionally in some cases?
I don't think that there is enough awareness of it. But I have seen that organizations are really beginning to take the bold action steps in facing the fact that mental health is here. I'm even seeing a lot of the shame associated with mental health and getting a therapist and different things of that sort, working through emotional stress. I'm seeing a lot of that, a lot of acceptance. So organizations are moving in the right direction, but there's just it is not an easy subject to tackle. There are a lot of risk, to be quite honest, in really just addressing when things such as, emotional abuse, when there's tyrant, tyranny practices and different things of that sort. So it's not easy, and I don't think that people are just blatantly looking away from it and pretending that the problem doesn't exist. But I do think that there is a lot of work to be done. And my goal for Soul Murder in the workplace is to just kind of start that conversation, get that conversation, or to add to the conversation, because it's certainly already happening.
Absolutely, I love that. So let's talk about some solutions. You find yourself in a position where you're dreading going to work every day
Mm.
and you can't leave. What are some first kind of things? I mean, they got to get the book in order to learn all of them, but we'll just pick one. What's something to begin with that they can start doing to take better care of themselves?
I think that you just said it. It is recognizing, going inside and normalizing what it is that you're feeling, and just taking care of yourself, admitting to yourself everything starts with the self. Everything starts with you developing a clear understanding. What am I feeling? Where is this coming from? Where did this originate? So it's always best to kind of start doing your own internal work. There's this saying that it is not, in many cases, it is not your fault what happened to you, but it is 100% your responsibility to to walk through your healing journey together. So it always starts with the self, and that could be, it could be actually getting therapy. Many organizations offer employee, we call it EPA in most organizations, where they offer maybe 8 to 10 sessions of psychotherapy for free. And that just allows an individual to really comb through, get underneath a lot of those intense emotions, and to kind of see specifically what is mine, and what has been projected onto me by these situations that I'm working in. So I would say that, as in the book, it always starts with self-evaluation, self-examination, seeing specifically what is going on. You have to be able to kind of name the problem before you can solve it.
I love that. And of course, you need to get the book Soul Murder in the Workplace. It is available for free today on Amazon. But if a person wants to go deeper with you, can they work with you?
Absolutely. I have my company is called Miller Mindfulness. I am on LinkedIn, Miller Mindfulness. Um, I'm on Facebook, Miller Mindfulness, as well as Twitter. I'm everywhere across social media, Miller Mindfulness. So they can reach out to me. Also, millermindfulness at gmail.com. So they can email me directly, or reach out to me on all of those social media platforms. And I am excited to do this work. It's so important. It certainly, I think I've said to you before, it is a purpose that chose me. So,
Absolutely. Well, before I let you go, just give somebody that's really going through it some words of encouragement that there is a way out.
absolutely. I want you to start with the fact that you are not alone. Millions of people before you have not only gone through this, but they have also gotten over it. There is help, and I want to normalize the fact that intense emotions, they feel awful. Feelings of depression, feelings of anxiety, but there is help. There is help, and it's not something that you have to go through by yourself, and it's not a hopeless situation. There is help. Reach out, and healing is up ahead. There's healing up the road.
Well, I love that. I encourage everyone get the book Soul Murder in the Workplace. As I said, it's available for free today on Amazon. The link is both up in the description as well as down in the comments. Devonya, thank you so much for spending some time
You're
with us here on the
welcome.
show today.
Thank you so much, Steve. Have a wonderful day, everybody.